What's going on, everyone? Today we have the tier list for patch 16.3. There are a lot of changes in this recent patch. I think it was the biggest patch of set 16 so far. And there was a lot of weird changes going on in this game. So first up, we have Targon Aurelion Sol, going to be the best comp out there right now. Followed by a very fun reroll comp with Ixtal Bard, and then AD Draven Fast 9. Draven got a little buff, and then Ixtal with Brock still very good. In the A tier, we have Yunara, Kaisa, very consistent options there. I think these two comps are going to be a lot of people's bread and butters. And then after that, we have Demacia, solid option. Sona Reroll, very easy to play comp. Veigar, still good. Ekko, still playable. Ryze Ziggs, still good. And then Shadow Owls, I think, is a very decent comp. And then we also have Freljord Seraphine in the A tier. Next up in the B tier, we do have Warwick Flex added in there. Slayers got bumped down a little bit. Tryndamere is playable, but I wouldn't sacrifice my whole game with it. And then there are a bunch of other playable comps such as Singe Seraphine, Ryze Bruiser, Draven GP, Yasuo, Yordles, into Arcanist Sylas, Freljord Flex, Mel, Bard Sion, Bel'Veth Slayers, and Diana. But everyone's really happy right now because Bilgewater is in the C tier right now. It used to be in the S tier, and that all changed because we have to thank Riot Games out there for nerfing Fizz, because if it wasn't for that, we'd probably all be speaking Bilgewater. So let's get on into the S tiers. We're going to run through everything you need to know about each and every one of these comps. Let's start off with the Aurelion Sol comp, though. This one is going to be really, really fun. You're going to be playing a lot of Targon, but you do need a lot of econ for this to work. You need to be very rich, and then you need best in slot Asol. So Asol's build has changed a little bit. You don't want the super mana, super casting items anymore. What you definitely need right now is Jeweled Gauntlet and Nashor's Tooth. You want at least one Nashor's, if not two. I think the second Nashor's is better than Spear of Shojin and Blue Buff right now, because with the Jeweled Gauntlet, you just get so much mana whenever you crit, and the attack speed definitely helps also. So this is going to be the best build. Get as many Nashor's as you can. Apart from that, the early game is a little bit tricky because you do need certain unlocks. Like early Taric definitely helps a lot. But the unlocks you need to pay attention to are going to be Diana, Aurelion Sol, and Skarner. Skarner is optional, but he's just a very solid tank to add to your team. But the game plan here is that Asol's ability scales with cast throughout the game. But the best news about this is that you don't need max stack Asol to win games. I've seen like non-fully stacked Asols absolutely get first all the time. So you want to still aim to unlock Asol as early as possible. 4-3 is ideally the latest as the first turn of playing Asol. And you're going to be losing a few rounds there because he's the weakest at that point. But then you just snowball. So if you get enough econ to roll for 2-star Leona and a Taric on stage 4-1, you unlock Diana on 4-2, and then you play Asol on 4-3. That's the game plan there. The toughest part isn't even getting Taric, it's getting the Leona 2-star, because you're supposed to not roll until level 8, do that, and then go for it. If you get lesser champion duplicator, by the way, this comp becomes a lot better because you can just use that for your Leona. That way you unlock her very quickly, get the Diana out there, and then your comp gets rolling that much earlier. But for the rest of the build, Azir is a very good thing to add into this comp because just playing a bunch of Shurimas to complement the Targons just makes a lot of sense because you don't have any traits to base your comp off of, so just adding the Azir and the Shurimas is very logical to kind of add in. Seraphine is going to be used for Disruptor, and then Nico Vi, just a classic combo there. You get the Piltover, you get some Defender. The 2 Defender buff for your team is very, very nice. And then for your main tank, you could use either Taric or Skarner. It really doesn't matter. Both of them are very good. And then leftover items on Renekton or Diana. I prefer Renekton, but like it depends what items you have because they use different stuff, right? But Econ's the name of the game. For augments, you want a lot of gold. Anything that gives you gold because you need to get enough gold to roll down with. But definitely play this comp. It's super duper duper fun and super duper 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 good. There's some tips down here. You could read all of them on bunnymuffins.lol/meta, where you have some nice text such as knowing when to full open, knowing when to do other stuff, and knowing other replacements. So let's get on into the next comp. Next comp up we have is the Ixtal Bard reroll. Super duper 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 fun comp because you get to do a lot of rerolls and a lot of 2-costs. Just look at it here. You have Vi, Nico, Bard, Orianna, and like if you can, Milio, and Nidalee is super fun to play too. If you get a 3-star Nico, like Nidalee becomes really, really, really good. To play this comp, you definitely want one of the reroll augments in the beginning. Anything that gets you a Bard unlock very, very easily. That's going to be like Epoch, Trade Sector, Calculated Loss, Prismatic Ticket. Those are going to be what you want for Bard. General reroll augments in the future also still going to be good because you still need to 3-star everything. So what items do you want? On Bard, you want the crit mana regen build with Nashor's, so you're going to do Jeweled Gauntlet, Nashor's plus the Stride Breaker. On Orianna, you could put utility items on her with the Morello and the Void Staff. Milio can use like typical AP build, and then frontline Nico, it's classic tank items. You could also item up Skarner. If you do get Brock, throw the Brock items on him, and then Nidalee can pretty much use anything left over. But if you have a 2-1 econ augment that provides rerolls, go for this. If not, like, I personally wouldn't touch it unless you're really, really good at this comp or you really, 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 really love it. And you also want 3 Ixtal by stage 3-2 at the latest, ideally on 2-1 or 2-3 though. If you get it on 3-2, you probably need to be decently healthy. That's just one little caveat. 2 sets of AP items are either Milio, Nidalee, or Ori, and then strong frontline items on Nico, gonna be great, and then Econ Portal is gonna be preferred for this comp. As per usual, you do need to be careful with your questing, but you pretty much just want to be holding Ixtal units a lot and then rolling for Bard on stage 2-3, lose a couple rounds, get rerolls, and then eventually level up to 3-2, slow roll for 3 stars, get to level 7, get 5 Ixtal, and then get more 3 stars there. In the super late game, you could sub out some of the lower value units to play stuff like Swain and Taric, but pretty much this comp is just really good because of what Bard provides, and then you get the 3 stars, and then you provide a very stable board. Next comp up we have is going to be the AD Fast 9 build with Draven. So this comp has always been decent. It was even solid last patch, but it got buffed a little bit recently. And the reason why is because Draven got a little bit more AD, which is very well and welcome. Kindred is also bugged right now. She's very OP, so if you can play Kindred in any way, just play her right now. I don't know if they're going to be hotfixing her. I have heard some rumors, but nothing confirmed. But pretty much this plays the same way you did before. You just play Draven early. Like if you get Draven from an orb, it's like GG. If you get Win Streak AD opener, it's GG. And then you just fast 9. Like you don't even need econ augments. Like they are nice still, but you don't need it. And even though level 9's a little bit more expensive on this patch, it doesn't really matter because you just get so much gold in this comp, and then you go level 9, you play Lucian Senna, you play Kindred, and then all the AD items, like, you can fit on them. It doesn't matter who you put them on. Like, Draven can hold anything, and then you run a bunch of random tanks. Skarner, Taric are going to be really good to go for, and then if you can't afford to do it, go for Sylas. Sylas is going to be really good to really cap this comp off because you have so much gold that you can afford stuff like Garen 2 and Lux 2 and then sell them. So nothing much has changed in this comp. You just need Draven early or like a win streak opener, and then you just go level 9, you farm infinite gold with Draven. Some people do stabilize by rolling at level 7 for Draven 2-star. I recommend doing that a lot of times, especially if you have a lot of pairs to finish up. And then with that advantage, he just farms you infinite gold, and it's absolutely disgusting to do. In the early game, run like a 3 Noxus like little starter pack. Oftentimes it's going to be like Draven, Sion plus Darius, and then you run like a second Bruiser for Sion, you run another Defender for Darius, and then you just run a random Quick Striker. Oftentimes it's going to be Ashe. A good little combo is going to be Ashe plus Sejuani plus another Freljord. That way you get 3 Freljord, you get the Defender with Sejuani and the Darius. And I'm not saying you have to do this, but it is one of those nice little combos you have out there because you also get Quick Striker for the Draven. But honestly, any Quick Striker, any tank synergies will do. It doesn't have to be those exact units. Next build up we have is going to be the Brock Fast 9. This one's just questing simulator. You want the 625 cash out. It is pretty difficult to get, but if you get it, you still will do very, very well on it. Items for Brock hasn't really changed, i.e. Hand of Justice, Sterex. Like, I mean, we could check the Data Explorer in teamfight.lol. Very useful tool for pretty much all data checking. But yeah, the IE Hand of Justice combo pretty good, Sterex good. Some people like the Bloodthirster. I personally like these other items. You can see with the total game amounts, like they're all pretty much around the same area. BT is nice is because it's kind of like a combo between Sterex and Hand of Justice, but I think Hand of Justice IE does more damage because you just get a lot more crit. But honestly, like anything can do. Like you could even put Deathblade on him. Some people like have tried Edge of Night. Pretty much any 3 items on your Brock is going to be good. And also like Radiant items really good. You get a lot of Radiant item drops from your cash outs sometimes. So you definitely want to be playing around that. But yeah, there isn't really too much to this comp that's changed. You could do the Zillion build with Invokers. You could do AD builds with like Kindred, Lucian. Again, Kindred is bugged right now. So playing her is really, really, really useful. But the rest of your board doesn't really matter. It just has to be anything playable. You just need some tanks, some utility. So like you want anti-heal on someone. You want like a 3-item tank if you can. Skarner's a good option for that. And then run random legendaries, random synergies, and you are going to be good to go. Next build up we have is going to be the Yunara Flex. This comp is going to be a bread and butter for a lot of people on this patch because if you ever get a Rageblade start and an Ionia start, you pretty much just auto default this comp and you will get like top 3 in a lot of cases, especially with Kindred. And yeah, any Kindred comp, they just get boosted up a tier easily. But even without the Kindred bug, this comp still is very, very strong. She's just super consistent with the Yunara. And then you could play her with all sorts of different builds. There's like the Ionia version. This one's really popular right now. You go 5 Ionia with the Kindred and then fill the rest of your team out with legendaries. The Freljord version's still good. You could play Yunara with Ryze. There's so many different ways to play Yunara, which is why I think she is so good right now. So what do you need to make this comp work? You need strong Ionia opener, you need item augments, you need econ, or you don't need econ, but it is something good that bumps it up a tier, and then you need the set unlock, and then you want Infinity Edge Yunara. The reason why this all works is because Yunara with IE and Rageblade is just one of the few champions that actually uses it to its full potential. So it's just an absolutely needed item combo on her. But whenever you get Rageblade start, this is going to be an absolute bonkers comp. Just put your items on Jhin. You're going to be using Jhin item holder for a lot of the game. If you get Draven, you could upgrade to Draven or any other AD item holder, honestly. And then go level 8, do your roll down. And since they changed level 9 to make it more expensive, level 8 comps are a bit better. So Yunara is a level 8 comp. So you're going to get a lot more value from this unit. Very, very solid comp. I'm probably going to be playing this most of my games along with the next comp, which is going to be Void Kaisa. So there is a discussion, AP Kaisa or AD Kaisa. Honestly, I think it's like a tie right now. You could do both builds, to be honest. One thing's for certain, though. Kaisa is a lot better now because you can unlock her at level 7. So you don't need to do the goofy nonsense of leveling to level 8 on 3-7 to get Kaisa on 4-1. You don't need to do that anymore. You could just be level 7, get Kaisa, have your 3 items on Kog'Maw, play her, get access to her early, roll down at level 8 as you normally would, get her 2-star, and you're going to be more than good to go. So the great part about the Void comp is that you get both Kaisa and Rift Herald around like stage 3-5, 3-6, because you're going to be level 7 there, and then you get your Kaisa and your Rift Herald, and then you're just super strong because you have 2 forecasts on stage 3. Granted, they did nerf Kaisa, nerf as in made her weaker, but because you get her earlier, she's still stronger. So they made her weaker, but you get access to her easier, which makes her overall net stronger. So that's why she's so good right now. And again, both the AD and AP item paths both work. It doesn't really matter which one you go. It just depends on what items you have. After that, you do have the option to go for Baron. Baron still is very good. Definitely nothing to scoff at, but you don't need to. You could definitely top 4 with the Kaisa, but with the Baron, it's obviously going to put it over the top. These two comps, they're just so consistent. Like, if you get a Rageblade, you could flex between the two. If you have IE, you could flex between the two. Like, if you want to just play 2 comps for the whole patch, Void Kaisa and Yunara definitely can be done. Like, no question about it. Very strong stuff there. Next build up we have is a 7 Demacia build. We have 4 different builds for this comp out right now. We have Standard, Vayne 3, Sentinels of Light, and the Dragon Guards comp. So Dragon Guards and Sentinels of Light, this is going to be one of those augments that give you a little trait bonus. You could see like on the top right here of both these augments. And depending on what you get, like you could play both of these comps. They are all very good. I think Demacia is in a super good spot right now because there's even a Sona Reroll comp that we'll go over in just a second. But essentially what you need to do is you need a Demacia opener. I know I say this, like you need the trait opener for the trait comp you're going to play. Like, wow, thank you, Bunny Muffins. You helped me so much. Like, obviously, like you already knew that, right? But there are some comps that especially need strong openers, and that's going to be Demacia. Like Ionia, you could go into Ionia from like a random attack damage build, right? Like having strong Ionia is nice because it's easier to transition into, but you don't absolutely need it. For Demacia, yeah, you absolutely need it because the reason why is because you need Galio unlock, and Galio unlock requires you to have 12 star levels of Demacia units, which is a lot to handle. So when you do that, you need to have a lot of upgrades. And if you are stuck on Jarvan 1, Sona 1, for example, you're going to need to 2-star like Garen and Lux in order to unlock Galio, which just isn't realistic in a lot of games. So you need to have the 2 stars early for like pretty much everything. You want Sona, Jarvan, Xin Zhao, Poppy, Vayne, like a lot of different people, right? And because of that, you need the strong opener, and if not, you'll be stuck on like 1-star Sona for the whole game, and then you'll need to unlock a 4 cost to get Galio, which is very, very, very rough, or just hit everything magically. But after that, Galio did get changed a little bit. You don't need to stack Dragon Claws on him. You could do like Thornmail or Dragon Claw now to give him like a little bit more damage and scaling. Garen gonna be main tank, Lux in the back. Hextech Gunblades are really good for this comp. Zillion's a nice little cap with Invoker with the Sona. Great for utility items such as Void Staff and Red Buff. But yeah, this comp really, really good right now. It's only good if you get a direction for Demacia though. So if someone else is going Demacia, they got the opener for it, you didn't, and you're like, oh, I got great, perfect Demacia items though. Don't go for it. Don't go for it because they're going to be able to pull it off a lot better than you, and then you're just contested for fun. And that's not good, right? We're not here to have fun. Just kidding. We are, because we're playing a video game, right? But like, it's not good. Like, you don't want to be contested Demacia ever. For Sona Reroll, though, this is, again, especially important not to get contested on. And sometimes you want to play regular Demacia, and then there are 2 Sona Reroll players, and then you're like, oh my god, I can't get these other units either. It's still hard to do, because sometimes when they go Sona Reroll, they somehow get Garen at level 5 or like Lux at level 5, and I'm just like, what's going on there? But like, it happens, right? But Sona Reroll, very strong. You need this exact item build: Archangel, Jeweled Gauntlet, and Nashor's Tooth. Nashor's is just really good right now. Like, they buffed it, and yeah, it's nice. Great for mana regen, and then she's obviously getting Invoker with the Kabuko, and then Jeweled Gauntlet, good for critting. Archangel's good for scaling. You have a very strong front line to scale with, and then yeah, you just play the rest of the 7 Demacia, and instead you just do the reroll. If you have a lot of early Sonas and Jarvans and like good items for Sona at the start, definitely go for this comp instead of the regular Demacia, because yeah, it is very strong, and you still can unlock Galio, right? Like, it's easier too, because you just get 3 stars, but obviously you have to spend gold to do it. Veigar Reroll, still good. They were going to nerf this comp, but they decided not to, but it's still very good. It's not as good though, because Fizz got nerfed, so you have to keep that in mind when you are playing this. Veigar's still very strong though. You put the hat on him, or sorry, you get 2 hats on someone in the game to unlock Veigar. Throw 1 hat on him, get a blue buff on him, and then he already critically strikes on his abilities, so getting something like a Stride Breaker is a very good option for a 3rd item. Wukong main tank, Ziggs late game cap, he's extremely good. Like, I personally love Ziggs still. He got nerfed also, but he didn't get like killed nerf, right? He just got like regular nerf, which I like a lot, because I hate when champions get over nerfed and then you can never play them again, such as Fizz. But because Veigar's strong and Ziggs is still good, Fizz is okay to still run. Next build up we have is going to be the Ekko Reroll build. This build is going to be still solid. It did get nerfed, but again, it wasn't that big. So I'm very proud of Riot Games for not overly nerfing comps and essentially killing them, because yeah, Ekko was really fun to play. You do the Rageblade, Bloodthirster, Titan's Resolve build on him. He just becomes an unstoppable melee monster. And then Singe is good for utility items, Void Stab, Morello. You could also do Sunfire Cape, Ionic Spark, depending on what item combinations you get. Any combination of those 4 items is going to be good on Singe. If you're going for Ekko 3, you might as well go for Vi 3, and that's going to be that. Very simple comp to play, just do 2 cost reroll for this one. Artifacts also bump this comp up a lot, so if you ever get that offered to you, just take it right away. Next build up we have is the Ryze Ziggs comp. This comp is still very good. Not as good as it was before because Ziggs got nerfed, but thankfully, like, this comp is just very solid in the late game. If you have the option to unlock Ryze, like, you pretty much always do it. I think Ryze is a very well designed unit because he's hard to get, but he is well worth the effort. You just need to be able to get to level 9. That's really the question you have to ask yourself. Can I get to level 9? If you have econ augments, you can. If you don't, you can't. Keep in mind, though, level 9 is harder to get to, so that's why this comp got bumped down a bunch. It used to be in the S tier. Now it's in the middle of the pack A tier. But with Ionia, Zon, Piltover, and Yordle, and the Targon, you get a lot of regions in this comp. That's what, like 5 regions? You only need 4 for Ryze, which means that this isn't your regular Ryze. This is a super Ryze. And when that happens, he's just going to be twice as effective, not twice, but like even more effective than he normally would be. But what I love about this build personally is that there are a lot of different items you could build for this. Like, if you have a Rageblade early, you could still play this comp, right? Like, you could play something in the early game that uses Rageblade well, and then you could be like, do I want to go Yunara or Kaisa? Oh, wait, I have like 1 billion gold in my hands, so let me go for Ziggs. So if you are a trust fund kid, this is going to be a very good comp for you to play. If you're not, you could be like, okay, let me just go Yunara, let me go Kaisa, and then use a Rageblade there, and like maybe you get lucky, you get a Draven. You could go Fast 9 Draven. Rageblade just very flexible in this patch, I think, especially since Kindred is good too. You could literally play any comp into Kindred and use the Rageblade eventually. But back to this comp, Ryze is going to use the utility items very, very well. With the mana item, he's going to be popping with that. Taric with the tank items going to be very solid. Set can use leftover items if you want. So if you get random set 2, definitely use him because he is going to be very strong still, but you want to prioritize the items on your backliners. Let me put it this way. If everyone's 2-starred, you want Ryze and Ziggs with your items. If you have Ryze 1-star, Ziggs 1-star, but Set 2-star, maybe you want items on Ryze and then Set. Like, you could put Ziggs items on Set. Like, Giant Slayer hat, they're going to work well on him because, I mean, 2-star legendary is a 2-star legendary, so you got to respect it, right? But for the most part, it's like really Ryze and the Ziggs doing most of the carrying in the back line. Not really much else to say there. Some other good combat augments is going to be Jeweled Lotus because like all these guys like critting a little bit. So that saves you a bunch of different items. But the main tricky part of this comp is just unlocking Kennen. Once you get that, it kind of just falls into place. You just need to fit everything on your board at level 9, but it is pretty easy to do because you are running so many regions. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For tanks though, like again, Taric or Wukong will do, but the most important thing is just having a lot of econ for this comp. Next build up we have is Shadow Owl Kalista. This comp got a lot better because Shadow Owls got buffed in general, and I think Thresh got buffed. Kalista going to be a very solid choice out there. If you get early Viego also got buffed because you only need to put one item on him to get Yorick. Just play it. Holy cow, it's so good. And especially if you're below Diamond, this comp is so easy to play because it just plays itself. You get the Viego at the start, and then you get the Yorick, you play Shadow Owls, and then you just slowly unlock everyone. You're going to unlock Gwen, you're going to unlock Kalista, you're going to unlock Thresh, and that's how you're going to play your game. Like, everyone just slowly unlocks each other, and then you play around Thresh in the late game. One item combo to try on Thresh, though, is going to be the BT plus double utility item. It's like a decent option to play. Honestly, Thresh can use kind of any item. We could sort by champion stats over here, and like, yeah, BT, Morello, and Void Staff is going to be very popular on him, but like, are you really going to go wrong getting anything else? No, that's not the case. Like, he can pretty much use anything. So he's just a really solid unit in general in terms of like item flexibility. But this comp is, again, very easy to play, very fun to play. In this little build you have here, you drop down from 5 Shadow Owls to 3 Shadow Owls. That's optional. You don't have to do that because now Thresh scales a lot more from more souls. So honestly, both options work. It really just depends if you get 2-star legendaries or not. Running disruptors in the backline with Mel and Seraphine works well, but obviously Gwen is a disruptor, so you could play Gwen instead. Mbessa, Fiddlesticks are vanquishers with Kalista. You got the Warden combo with Yorick and Thresh. And if you get Kindred 2-star or something like that, you could always stick with Viego and play him with Quick Striker and obviously just have Kindred because she's Kindred. But if you can ever unlock Viego by stage 2-2, preferably 2-1, you can go for this comp and it's just going to be very strong. Just make sure you have one slammable item for your Viego, not only to unlock the Yorick, but also just to kind of win in the early game. Next build up we have is going to be the Freljord Seraphine comp. This is a new comp we added. It's like based around Seraphine, Lissandra, and Braum. Seraphine going to be the main carry, Braum going to be main tank, and then Lissandra kind of like the support with the utility items. And then you could also play Shurimas with the Renekton and the Azir. Pretty good for bronze for life value, as you see on the left here. And what's going to happen is if you ever get an AP start and you don't know what to do, everything's contested, Seraphine likely is not going to be contested. And if you have access to Azir, if you have like the Azir augments, this is a great comp to kind of play into it. But essentially, if you have a strong AP opener and you have a way to preserve HP, you can make your way to level 8 very easily and then just get the 4 cost. Seraphine, Lissandra, either or 2-star can stabilize with whichever item combos that you have. And then whatever tank you have up front will do. Like if you have Kabuko 2-star, he's going to be pretty tanky. Taric, Braum, like you have a lot of different options there in the front line on your level 8 roll down. But essentially, this comp is great at stabilizing at level 8, but you do need to make it to level 9 and get Azir to push the comp to the next level in the super late game because that's going to be the most important thing to kind of get the wins. But it's still very solid even without it, but it's just better in that way. Next comp up we have are the B tiers. I'm just going to go over the Warwick comp. The other comps we kind of went over in the past, and in the B tier we kind of just do the summaries unless we just have a new comp. And Warwick is one of those comps. Warwick is a new comp we have added. He's going to fit in the 5 Zon comp. There are a couple of different versions, but pretty much you just need Titans, BT, Sterex on Warwick. He's going to be strong. Honestly, artifact items are pretty good on him because a lot of the artifact items are really good for melee carries. Swain going to be a solid tank. Singe could hold utility items or Seraphine. And then lastly, Kindred is Kindred. Quick Strikers are good, so if you can play Kindred in your board, play her. She's going to be bonkers busted. And yeah, like if there is a hotfix, I will be updating the website, bunnymuffins.lol/meta, just in case there is one. I don't know when it'll be though. Like it could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be after the weekend. There hasn't been any official announcement. But when it is updated, I'll be the first to tell you, and the website will be updated shortly after. In this comp here, you just need to unlock Warwick by getting Vi and Jinx. You just need to put one item on each of them. It's very easy to unlock now. Field a Jinx and Vi holding an item at level 7, so it's very common to level to 7 on 3-5, roll for a Jinx 1 and Vi 1 to unlock Warwick on 3-6, play him, and then you're going to be good to go. Singe, you just need to lose 35 player life. with 4 Zonites or Juggernauts out in the front, and then you're going to be pretty good to go there. But overall, very solid comp, decent for Bronze for Life or Stand United type stuff, but not like that crazy. You don't need like crazy econ for this, but it is nice to try to get to Kindred. But really, Warwick's going to be stabilizing you. Not too many people goes on, so that's nice. And you do get to stabilize a little bit with Singe in case you happen to have a bad early game. But very fun comp to play. Singe Seraphine is just like a nice combo to play around with. I like doing it a lot. But just to summarize up at the top, if you want to just one trick a comp or two trick a comp, Void Kaisa and Yunara Flex are going to be your go-tos. It's just the strongest thing. Like, I don't know what to tell you all. It's just, well, not the strongest. It's just the most consistent thing. You can pretty much play these in every single game, and unless you're like super duper contested, you're going to do fine with them. If you want an Exodia comp, the Aurelion Sol is really good if you can ever get to max stacks, but you can honestly win before reaching that. Any Brock comp, any Fast 9, Bruiser Ryze is still very good. Like, any Ryze can do it also. And if you are looking for a bunch of beginner comps, Sona, Demacia, Shadow Owls, 9 Void, and Bard Sion are all still very solid options out there. Just don't play like any of these comps, like T-Hex. Oh my god, it's so bad. I forgot to show you all the changes from the last patch. If we go to Champions, we go to Forecast. Where's Fizz? Fizz is all the way down here at a 4.97. Awful. What was the other person? T-Hex. Okay, scroll all the way down. 5.06 as a legendary. That's absolutely embarrassing. Like, don't do that. Like, I know Aurelion Sol is a bit low here, but honestly, I think it's because people aren't playing him correctly. As people play him better and better, he's going to rise in the ranks a lot, because I think people just heard he's fun to play, so they just play him, and then they don't stack him properly or get him unlocked early enough, and that's kind of why he's bad in the stats. Like, you can't play this comp unless you have a lot of econ, because if not, you can't unlock him early enough. But if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. I will be doing a coaching series on this patch, so go to coaching up here and submit your games. I'll be reviewing some random viewer games, so if you want to have a chance to be shown in one of the future videos, submit your games there on the website, bunnymuffins.lol. But apart from that, that's going to be it for me today. Let me know if you have any questions down below, and I'll see you all in the next one.